Here's one more video to help you with some mixture problems. Every year I seem to get questions about these type of coin problems where they give you some description about some total number of coins, what type they are, and what their value is. So I wanted to include at least one video explaining an example. So it says, you grab a handful of dimes and nickels. You have 125 coins worth $8.85. How many of each coin do you have? So again, using the question that we have, I'm going to let x be equal to our number of dimes, and I'm going to let our y be equal to our number of nickels. So there's really two basic equations we're going to set up here. One is going to use the idea that there are 125 total coins. The other will use the idea that the value of those coins is $8.85. So for our first equation, we can take the number of dimes, which is x, plus the number of nickels, which is y, and that has to be equal to the total number of coins, which is 125. The second equation is slightly more complicated, but it deals with the value of the coins. So it's going to use an idea that we've discussed many times throughout the year, which is if we take the value of an item times the number of items, we get the total value. So for instance, the value of a dime in dollars is 0.10. If we multiply that by the number of dimes, which is x, 0.10x now represents the money that we have from the dimes. If we do the same thing with our nickels, then 0.05 is the value of one nickel, times our number of nickels, which is y. The 0.05y now represents the total money we have from nickels. If we add together our money from nickels and our money from dimes, we'll get back our total amount of money, which is $8.85. Since both of these equations are in standard form, the easiest way to solve would be to use the elimination method. So what we're going to do is we're first going to make our top equation have a coefficient of -1 on the x. So I'm going to multiply both or everything in the equation by -1. That will give us a new equation of -x minus y is equal to -125. Next, to create a positive 1x in the second equation, we're now going to multiply the second equation through by +10. That will move the decimal over once in the 0.10x to leave us 1x plus 0.5y is equal to 88.5. We can now add these two equations together, and the x's will cancel each other out, leaving us with -0.5y is equal to -36.5. By then dividing each side by -0.5, we'll obtain our value for y and find out that y must be equal to 73. Now that we know our number of nickels, we could very easily go back and substitute into either of the original two equations, and obviously the first one is much simpler than the second. So if we take the equation x plus y has to equal 125, and now substitute in what we know, which was that our y value is now going to be equal to 73, we can very easily solve this equation by now subtracting 73 from both sides and finding that our x is now equal to 52. That leaves the final answer now of our problem. When we put our units back on, that you have 52 dimes and 73 nickels. You could very easily plug those answers back into the second equation just to verify your solution, but this is how you would break down a mixture problem that involves coins.